I had to summarise the intention behind my artwork, it would be expressing a kind of nuanced and individual experience of illness whilst highlighting the historical power dynamics that have fed into that experience and how that translates into a kind of injustice that's experienced in general society, but also like in the doctor's office. My name's Charlie Fitz and I'm a visual artist. I am currently the artist in residence at Wigwell Lodge with Photoworks and Ampersand. And this is Oscar, my partner.
Hello, I'm Oscar Winter and I am an artist and filmmaker.
Oh, and this is our dog Stanley.
Most importantly.
I work in lots of different mediums. Most of my work is in some way a collage, whether that's making a film, I make it in a kind of collage way by using archival footage, using some of Oscar's songs. I loosely started this project a year ago when I had my last neurosurgery. Heterotopia is this idea from Michel Foucault, a kind of space in which the normal rules of life don't apply and time is experienced differently. I noticed that going into hospital as a sick person, that really applies. But then having a chronic illness in which you continue to be ill, but you do actually have the restrictions of daily life, you're kind of like half in and outside this heterotopic space. And so I wanted to explore this idea of the chronic heterotopia. Collaborating creatively and academically has been something that we've kind of done naturally from pretty much the moment that we met. So you were really into photography and it kind of inspired me to get into photography a bit more. And so the way that we use photography in our practice is really mixed. Oscar does a lot more than me, but often he'll help me take photographs, and that's something that we term assisted self-portraits.
And especially because we got the camera before Charlie's first neurosurgery, it became a tool to kind of document that process and that healing process and the process of navigating neurosurgeries and medical institutions. So this is when she was first discharged in Spain after her first major neurosurgery.
One of the things about the residency is that there's not set outcome. You don't have to produce something at the end. And at the beginning, I didn't take advantage of that freedom enough. Like I felt stressed. I wanted to make sure that I was doing the right thing. And then over the process, I realized that there isn't a right thing and that it was just a chance to experiment. And I think the last 3 months, I've really taken advantage of that and experimented a lot. All your living space and working space often in like a little flat, so you get out this stuff and work on it. But here you can have a painting section, you can have a section with loads of sculptural stuff going, you can have all your music stuff out. I can then have some fabric and stuff over here, like in all these different places, and you can just go between it all depending on like how you're feeling at that moment, which thing you're like inspired to work on, or which thing suits your energy levels at that point in time. So yeah, the house really suits us for that.
During this time, I've been able to complete and submit my PhD. That was mainly me writing up and finishing my thesis, but I've also been working on other projects, so various kind of composing projects. So some of that for Charlie's art practice and helping her create sounds and different pieces for that work, and some of it's for my personal projects. For both of us, we obviously grew up outside big cities, or at least on the edge of big towns. So the countryside was always there, but to engage with it in relation to our art practice is slightly different, and to be fully immersed in that rather than being on the periphery of nature in this sense, it's definitely a different experience, and I think a very positive one.
Prior to the residency, I still was having a lot of imposter syndrome about being an artist, and I'm realizing that this is something that's really common generally for artists, but I think particularly if you're sick and disabled and you've got that like extra barrier. I've had mentoring from one of the Photoworks curators, Julia, both career mentoring and creative mentoring. Julia came to the house for the weekend and looked at all my artworks and gave me like really specific advice, helped me with research and put me in contact with people. And then she also introduced me to an artist who gave me really in-depth creative mentoring, and she introduced me to a curator who gave me really in-depth career mentoring. Me as an activist, me as an academic, and me as an artist, all of those things can be one thing, and I can kind of create the career and the future that I want by combining those things and creating the opportunities and creating the space. I think that that's really possible, and a lot of the people that I've met throughout the residency have helped me realise that that is a possibility and that is a legitimate approach to a career. It's almost like I'm collaging a career together that would work for me and my kind of way of being in the world, I think.